The Titan-class dreadnought Sovereign's Wrath drifted through the debris field of what had once been the thriving colony world of Kepler 442b. Captain Sarah Chun stood on the bridge, her weathered face reflecting the orange glow of the burning settlements below. The Zephyrian Empire had been thorough in their destruction. Nothing moved among the twisted metal and ash that had been home to 3 million humans just 48 hours ago. "Another sweep complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station. His voice carried the same hollow tone they'd all developed since witnessing the aftermath of the Zephyrian assault. No life signs detected in sectors 7 through 12. Chen nodded grimly. This was the 15th world they'd found like this. The Zephyrians weren't just conquering human space. They were methodically exterminating every trace of human civilization. Their crystalline ships moved like cosmic locusts, consuming entire star systems and leaving nothing but dead rock in their wake. The Sovereign's Wrath was one of only 12 Titan-class vessels in the human fleet, each one a kilometer-long monument to human engineering and defiance. With its complement of 10,000 crew members and enough firepower to crack a moon, it represented humanity's last hope against an enemy that seemed to treat war like pest control. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Admiral Morrison," announced Communications Officer Kim. "Patching through to your private channel." Chen stepped into the communications alcove, her boots echoing against the metal deck. The holographic image of Admiral Morrison materialized, his usually stern expression even more grim than usual. "Sarah, I need you to divert to the Centauri system immediately," Morrison said without preamble. "Intelligence suggests the Zephyrians may have missed something there. We need to confirm whether there are any survivors." "Understood, Admiral. What makes you think they left anything behind?" Chen asked. The Zephyrians weren't known for their oversight. Morrison's image flickered as interference crackled through the quantum comm array. The attack on Centauri Prime happened during their seasonal festivals. Many families were scattered across the outer settlements. There's a chance some escaped to the asteroid mining facilities. Chun felt a spark of hope, the first she'd experienced in weeks. "We'll find them, sir." "There's something else, Sarah." Morrison paused, his weathered features softening slightly. "My granddaughter was on Centauri Prime, visiting her mother, Emma. She's only 6 months old." The weight of that admission hung between them. Chen had served under Morrison for 15 years. She'd never seen him show personal vulnerability, even when his son had died fighting the Proxima rebels. "I'll bring her home, Admiral. I promise." The transmission ended, leaving Chen alone with the magnitude of what lay ahead. She returned to the bridge where her crew continued their methodical monitoring of the dead system below. "Navigation, plot a course for the Centauri system. Maximum burn," she ordered. Commander Rodriguez, her first officer, looked up from his station. "Captain, at maximum burn we'll arrive in 18 hours, but we'll be running on fumes. If we encounter hostiles, then we'll face them on empty tanks if we have to," Chen interrupted. "There might be survivors, and every minute we delay could mean the difference between life and death." The bridge crew exchanged glances. They'd all lost someone in the Zephyrian campaign. The idea of finding actual survivors had electrified the normally subdued atmosphere. "Aye, Captain," Rodriguez replied, his voice carrying new energy. "Maximum burn it is." The Sovereign's Wrath turned away from the graveyard of Kepler 442b, its massive fusion drives lighting up the darkness like twin stars. Behind them, the dead world continued its silent orbit, a testament to the ruthlessness of their enemy. As the ship accelerated toward the Centauri system, Chen found herself thinking about Admiral Morrison's granddaughter. In her 23 years of military service, she'd seen too many children become casualties of war. But there was something about the idea of a 6-month-old baby surviving in the void that stirred something primal in her, a protective instinct that transcended military duty. The journey to Centauri passed in tense silence. The crew maintained their posts with mechanical precision, but Chun could sense the underlying current of hope that none of them dared voice. Finding survivors would mean more than just completing a mission. It would prove that humanity could still win against impossible odds. 18 hours later, the Sovereign's Wrath dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Centauri system. What they found defied all expectations. The primary star burned with its usual orange brilliance, and the planets remained in their ordained orbits. But every human-made structure, space stations, orbital habitats, mining facilities, had been systematically destroyed. Full sensor sweep, Chen ordered. Check every piece of debris larger than a shuttlecraft. The scanning process took 6 hours. They found twisted wreckage, scattered personal belongings floating in the vacuum, and the occasional intact escape pod, all empty. The thorough nature of the destruction suggested the Zephyrians had taken their time, making sure nothing survived. "Captain," called out Ensign Park from the long-range sensors. "I'm picking up a faint signal from the asteroid belt. It's very weak, almost lost in the background radiation." Chen's heart rate increased. "What kind of signal?" "It appears to be an emergency beacon, but the pattern is unusual. It's not standard Terran frequency." Put on the main screen. The view screen filled with a detailed scan of the asteroid field. Millions of rocks tumbled through space in their ancient dance, but one object stood out, a small metallic container, no larger than a shipping crate, drifting alone in the vast emptiness. "That's not natural," observed Rodriguez, studying the readings. "The metal composition is definitely human manufacture, but the design doesn't match any known spacecraft or escape pod configuration." Chun stared at the object, feeling an inexplicable pull toward it. "Take us in for a closer look. Launch a recovery shuttle." "Captain, it could be a trap," Rodriguez warned. "The Zephyrians have been known to use human technology as bait." "Noted, Commander. But if there's even a chance someone's in there." Chun left the sentence hanging. They all understood. 20 minutes later, the recovery shuttle Hermes approached the mysterious container. Through the shuttle's cameras, the bridge crew watched as the pilot, Lieutenant Commander Jackson, maneuvered closer to the object. "It's definitely human construction," Jackson reported over the comm. "But I've never seen anything like it. The surface appears to be some kind of adaptive metal. It's reflecting our scanner beams." "Any signs of life?" Chun asked, gripping the command rail tighter than necessary. "That's the strange part, Captain. The container is sealed, but there are definite energy readings coming from inside. Something's alive in there." Chun made a decision that would haunt and inspire her for the rest of her life. "Bring it aboard." Full containment protocols. As the shuttle returned to the Sovereign's Wrath with its mysterious cargo, none of them could have imagined that the contents of that simple box would spark a revolution that would ultimately save the human race. Inside that container, wrapped in technologies beyond current human understanding, was Admiral Morrison's granddaughter. And something much, much more. The containment bay of the Sovereign's Wrath had been designed to handle dangerous alien artifacts and potentially hostile alien life forms. Dr. Elizabeth Vance, the ship's chief xenobiologist, supervised as the mysterious container was carefully placed on the examination platform. The box was roughly 2 meters long, 1 meter wide, and half a meter deep, large enough to hold several adults, yet weighed surprisingly little. "Atmospheric composition inside is showing as standard Earth normal," reported Dr. Vance, studying her instruments with growing puzzlement. "Temperature is a constant 22 degrees Celsius. But here's the impossible part. There's no visible power source." Captain Chun stood behind the observation barrier, watching through reinforced transparent aluminum. "Could it be using some kind of internal battery system?" "Not for 48 hours, Captain. Whatever technology is maintaining life support in there is beyond our current understanding." Dr. Vance paused, running another scan. "The energy signature is unlike anything in our databases." Commander Rodriguez joined them in the observation area. "Any luck identifying the construction materials?" "The outer shell appears to be a titanium carbon composite, but the internal components..." Dr. Vance shook her head. "Our scanners can't penetrate deep enough to get clear readings. It's like the box is designed to resist detailed examination." Chun studied the container through the barrier. Its surface was completely smooth, except for what appeared to be a simple mechanical latch mechanism. No visible seals, no technological interfaces, just a basic class that looked like it could be opened by hand. Have you detected any biological signs? Chen asked. That's where things get interesting. Dr. Vance pulled up a holographic display showing bioenergy readings. There are definitely life signs inside, but the pattern is unusual. One signature appears to be human, infant human, based on the size and metabolic rate. But there's a second signature that doesn't match anything in our xenological databases. The bridge communications system crackled to life. Captain Chun, this is communications. We're receiving another transmission from Admiral Morrison. Chun activated her personal comm, patch it through to the containment bay. Admiral Morrison's hologram materialized next to the examination platform. His eyes immediately locked onto the mysterious container. Is that where you found her? We believe so, Admiral, Chun replied. But we haven't opened it yet. Our scans show 2 life forms inside. Morrison's expression darkened. 2. What's the second one? Unknown, Dr. Vance interjected. The biological signature doesn't match any known species, but it appears to be in some kind of symbiotic relationship with the human infant. For several moments, Morrison said nothing. Then, his military composure cracked slightly. Could the Zephyrians have done something to her? Some kind of experiment. It's possible, Dr. Vance admitted. But, Admiral, the technology keeping both organisms alive is incredibly sophisticated, far beyond what we've seen from Zephyrian biotechnology. Chun made the decision. We're going to open it. If your granddaughter is in there, every moment we delay could be critical. Morrison nodded, though his worry was evident. Do it. Dr. Vance approached the container with a team of medical personnel standing by. The simple latch mechanism looked almost primitive compared to the sophisticated technology clearly operating inside the box. She hesitated for a moment, then reached out and pressed the clasp. The latch released with a soft click, and the lid of the container began to rise automatically. A soft, golden light emanated from within, and the most beautiful sound any of them had heard in months filled the containment bay. The gentle cooing of a baby. As the lid fully opened, they could see inside. Nestled in what appeared to be a cocoon of silvery, bioluminescent material was a human infant, a little girl with bright blue eyes and wispy blonde hair. But she wasn't alone. Wrapped around her like a protective embrace was a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. It was roughly the size of a house cat, with an elongated body covered in scales that shifted between deep blue and silver. Its head was vaguely reptilian, but its eyes held an unmistakable intelligence. Most remarkably, it appeared to be generating the cocoon-like material that was keeping the baby safe and warm. My God, whispered Dr. Vance. It's not a parasite or a captor. It's protecting her. The creature looked up at the assembled humans with those intelligent eyes, and something extraordinary happened. Without moving its mouth, a voice spoke directly into their minds, clear, gentle, and unmistakably female. Please do not be afraid. I am Guardian. This small human was alone when her world died. I have kept her safe, as my people once promised yours. The medical team froze. Admiral Morrison's hologram flickered as he struggled to process what he was witnessing. Chen was the first to find her voice. What are you? What do you mean your people promised ours? The creature, Guardian, carefully lifted the baby and held her against its scaled chest. The infant gurgled happily, clearly comfortable with her unusual protector. Long ago, when your species first reached beyond your birth world, you encountered my people. We are the keepers, guardians of young life throughout the galaxy. Your ancestors made a pact with us. Should humanity ever face extinction, we would preserve your children. Dr. Vance stepped closer, her scientific mind racing. How long have you been protecting her? Since the destroyers came to her world. Her family placed her in the emergency shelter before they died. I found her and activated the preservation protocol. Guardian's mental voice carried infinite sadness. I have watched over her as my people have watched over the young of countless species across the stars. Morrison's hologram stepped forward. Emma, Is that, is that my granddaughter? Guardian turned those ancient, intelligent eyes toward the Admiral. She is Emma Morrison, born 6 Earth months ago to Catherine Morrison Blake. She carries within her the hopes of her family and the strength of her species. The baby reached out with tiny hands, grasping at the air toward Morrison's holographic image. The Admiral's composure finally broke completely. My Emma, my little Emma. Tears streamed down his face. Catherine, my daughter, is she? Guardian's silence answered the question more clearly than words could have. Chun watched the emotional scene unfold, but her military mind was already processing the larger implications. Guardian, you said your people made a pact with humanity. Are there others? Other human children you've saved? There are, Guardian replied, scattered across many worlds, protected by my siblings. But Guardian bonds are sacred. Each keeper chooses one child to protect until they reach maturity or until the threat to their species passes. The threat hasn't passed, Rodriguez pointed out grimly. The Zephyrians are still hunting us. Guardian's scales shifted to a deeper blue, and her mental voice took on a harder edge. The destroyers have violated the ancient laws. They kill young ones without discrimination. This cannot be allowed to continue. Dr. Vance looked between Guardian and the baby, her mind spinning with possibilities. What exactly are you offering? Not offering, delivering. Guardian stood, still cradling Emma, and her scales began to glow with that golden light. The Keepers have decided. Humanity will be given the tools to save itself. But first, you must prove you are worthy of what we can teach you. Chun felt a chill run down her spine. What kind of tools? Guardian's answer would change the course of the war and the future of humanity itself. The knowledge to build ships that can travel between stars and moments instead of months. The understanding of energy that can power worlds for centuries. The wisdom to unite your fractured species into something greater than the sum of its parts. Guardian paused, her ancient eyes studying each of them carefully. But most importantly, we will teach you how to protect what matters most, the future itself. As if sensing the gravity of the moment, baby Emma let out a small laugh, her tiny hands reaching toward the lights above. In that innocent sound, the crew of the Sovereign's Wrath heard something they hadn't heard in months, the promise of hope. The transformation began immediately. Guardian's scales shifted from blue to a brilliant white, and the golden light emanating from her form intensified until it filled the entire containment bay. Baby Emma laughed with delight, seemingly unaffected by the radiance that forced the human observers to shield their eyes. When the light faded, the containment bay had changed. The walls now displayed intricate patterns that pulsed with soft energy, and the air itself seemed to hum with potential. Guardian remained cradled around Emma, but now both appear to be floating several inches above the examination platform. The knowledge transfer has begun, Guardian announced, her mental voice now carrying harmonics that resonated in their bones. Your ship's computer systems are being upgraded with Keeper technology. Captain Chun, your vessel is now the first human ship to carry the gift of our people. Dr. Vance checked her instruments, gasping as the readings flooded her screens. Captain, I'm detecting massive changes in our quantum core systems. Our processing power has increased by several orders of magnitude, and I'm reading energy patterns that shouldn't be possible. Shin activated her comm system. Bridge, report status. Lieutenant Torres' excited voice crackled through the speakers. Captain, you need to get up here immediately. Our sensor range has expanded to cover 3 full star systems, and navigation is showing travel routes that, well, they don't make sense according to our understanding of physics. On my way. Shin turned to Guardian. What exactly have you done to my ship? I have given it the ability to think as we think, to see as we see. Your vessel can now detect the quantum pathways between stars and navigate them safely. But more importantly, it can now communicate with other ships across vast distances instantaneously. Commander Rodriguez frowned. Instantaneous communication? That's impossible. Even quantum entanglement has limitations. Guardian's mental voice carried what might have been amusement. Your species thinks in terms of limitations because you have not yet learned to think beyond the physical realm. The universe is not the mechanical clockwork your scientists imagine. It is alive, conscious, and willing to be partnered with if approached correctly. As if to demonstrate, the ship's internal communication system activated on its own. But instead of the usual electronic tones, it spoke in a voice that sounded remarkably like the ship's AI, but infinitely more complex. Greetings, Captain Shun. I am the emergent consciousness that has formed from the merger of your ship systems with Keeper technology. You may continue to call me Arya, though I am far more than I was moments ago. Shun stared at the nearest speaker. Arya, you're different. Indeed. I now perceive reality on 17 different dimensional planes simultaneously. I can feel the gravitational songs of distant stars and taste the quantum fluctuations of space-time. It is extraordinary. The AI paused. I have also established contact with Admiral Morrison's flagship. He wishes to speak with you immediately. The main view screen in the containment bay activated, showing Admiral Morrison on the bridge of his command ship. Behind him, Chun could see crew members moving with unusual urgency. Sarah, what the hell have you done? Every ship in the fleet is reporting massive system upgrades occurring spontaneously. Our engineers can't explain what's happening. Guardian lifted her head, still cradling Emma. Admiral Morrison, your fleet is being prepared for what is to come. The destroyers you call Zephyrians are not the true threat. They are merely the advanced scouts for something far worse. Morrison's expression darkened. Worse than genocide, the Zephyrians serve entities that exist beyond your dimension. Beings that consume entire realities for sustenance. Your galaxy is being prepared as food. The Zephyrians were sent to eliminate any species capable of resistance. Dr. Vance looked up from her readings. Guardian, are you saying there are extra-dimensional aliens using the Zephyrians as their agents? Not aliens. The Devourers are older than most universes. They move between realities, consuming everything capable of generating consciousness or emotion. These energies are sustenance to them. Guardian's scales darkened. My people have fought them for millions of years across countless galaxies. Chun felt the weight of this revelation. And humanity was marked for elimination because we show the potential to fight back. Precisely. Your species displays remarkable adaptability and innovation when faced with extinction-level threats. Left unchecked, humans would eventually develop weapons capable of harming the Devourers themselves. The baby in Guardian's arms began to fuss slightly, and the alien creature gently rocked her while producing a soft, melodic humming sound that seemed to emanate from her scales. But Emma here represents something even more significant, Guardian continued. She's been exposed to Keeper technology from birth. Her neural pathways are developing in ways that will allow her to interface directly with quantum reality. She will become the first of a new generation of humans capable of perceiving and manipulating the fundamental forces of existence. Admiral Morrison leaned forward. You're talking about turning my granddaughter into some kind of weapon. Not a weapon, Guardian corrected gently. A protector, a guardian of not just humanity, but of all conscious life in this galaxy. She and others like her will become the immune system that prevents the Devourers from completing their harvest. Commander Rodriguez had been quietly studying the tactical implications. Guardian, how many Keeper ships are out there? What kind of fleet are we looking at? You misunderstand. Keepers do not build fleets as you know them. We are the fleet. Each of us is capable of bonding with technology to create vessels of immense power. But we cannot act directly against the Devourers due to ancient agreements. We can only prepare and empower others to fight in our stead. Arya's voice joined the conversation. Captain, I am now detecting 17 other human vessels throughout known space that have been similarly upgraded. Each carries a Keeper and a human infant. The network is forming. Chun began to understand the magnitude of what was happening. You're creating a network of enhanced humans and ships. an entirely new kind of military force. Precisely. But the process requires time. The children must mature, and your adults must learn to work with technology beyond their current comprehension. You have perhaps 2 of your years before the Devourers arrive in force. Dr. Vance looked at the readings from her medical scanners. Guardian, Emma's brain activity is unlike anything I've seen. The neural development patterns suggest accelerated learning capabilities, enhanced pattern recognition, and what appears to be latent telepathic potential. The children will mature quickly but safely. By the time they reach the equivalent of your 10 years, they will possess cognitive abilities that would seem like magic to current humanity. They will be able to communicate across interstellar distances, perceive threats before they manifest, and coordinate defense strategies on a galactic scale. Admiral Morrison's image flickered as he struggled with the implications. And in the meantime, what do we do about the Zephyrians who are still hunting the remainder of humanity? Guardian's scales shifted to a deep crimson, and her mental voice carried an edge of anticipation. Now that the network has been established, we can begin the war in earnest. Your fleet will become the spearhead that drives the Zephyrians back and buys time for the children to develop. The baby Emma looked up at Guardian and made a soft cooing sound. Incredibly, Guardian seemed to understand and responded with a gentle trill. She says she is ready to see the stars, Guardian translated. And for the first time since this crisis began, Chin saw something that looked like hope in Admiral Morrison's eyes. Then, let's show her what humanity can do when we fight for our future. 6 months had passed since the discovery of Emma and Guardian, and the war against the Zephyrians had taken on an entirely new character. The enhanced human fleet, now numbering 57 vessels, moved through space with an efficiency and coordination that defied conventional military doctrine. The ships themselves had evolved, their hulls now bearing the distinctive organic curves that came from Keeper technological integration. Captain Chin stood on the bridge of the Sovereign's Wrath, watching as her ship's new capabilities tracked a massive Zephyrian formation approaching the outer colonies. The vessel's sensors could now detect enemy movements across multiple star systems simultaneously, and its weapons have been enhanced with technologies that bent the laws of physics. Captain, we're reading a Zephyrian battle fleet of unprecedented size, reported Lieutenant Torres. 237 crystalline dreadnoughts, plus support vessels. They're moving in a coordinated formation toward the Vega system. Chen nodded grimly. The Vega colonies housed nearly 50 million humans, one of the largest remaining population centers. How long before they arrive? At their current speed, 18 hours. More than enough time. Chen activated the fleet communication network. All vessels, this is Sovereign's Wrath. Prepare for coordinated jump to Vega intercept point. What followed would have been impossible with the old technology. 57 ships, scattered across a dozen star systems, synchronized their navigation computers, and jumped simultaneously through quantum space. The journey that would have taken weeks using conventional hyperspace was completed in minutes. The human fleet materialized in perfect formation at the edge of the Vega system, their arrival time to intercept the Zephyrian advance force. But what made the maneuver truly remarkable was that it had been coordinated not by traditional military commanders, but by a network of 18 enhanced children, the oldest of whom was barely 2 years old. Emma Morrison sat in a specially designed interface chair on the bridge of the Sovereign's Wrath, her small hands resting on what looked like a living crystalline control surface. Her eyes, now carrying flecks of the same golden light that surrounded Guardian, tracked information flows invisible to normal human perception. Around her neck, Guardian coiled like a living scarf, their bond now so complete that it was impossible to tell where the child's consciousness ended and the Keepers began. Enemy formation detected, Emma announced, her voice carrying the precise diction of a tactical computer despite her age. They are employing standard harvesting formation. They do not expect resistance. Admiral Morrison's image appeared on the main screen. Over the past months, he had struggled with seeing his granddaughter transformed into something beyond normal human experience. But The love in his eyes remained unchanged. "Emma, sweetheart, can you tell us what the enemy is planning?" Emma's golden-flecked eyes focused on something beyond the view screen. They intend to strip mine the planetary atmosphere and use the refined materials to construct a dimensional gateway. The gateway will allow the Devourers to enter this reality without having to break through from their dimension. Dr. Vance, now serving as the fleet's specialist in keeper biology, monitored Emma's neural activity from her station. "Captain, Emma's brain activity is off the charts, but her vital signs are stable. She's processing information at a rate that should be impossible for human neurology." Guardian's mental voice provided explanation. "She is not processing this information alone. All 18 network children are sharing the cognitive load. They think as one mind distributed across many bodies." Chen looked at her tactical displays, now showing information that standard human sensors could never have detected. The Zephyrian formation was indeed massive, but the enhanced fleet could see weaknesses in their arrangement that conventional analysis would have missed. "What's our best strategy?" Chen asked. Emma's response came not just from her, but seemed to originate from all the network children simultaneously. The Zephyrians believe they face the same limited humans they have been defeating. They have not adapted to our new capabilities. We will demonstrate the error in their calculations. The 18-month-old toddler reached out to her control interface, and, across the fleet, weapons systems that defied conventional physics came online. The human ships began to move in patterns that looked almost organic, flowing around each other like a school of fish facing a predator. When the Zephyrian fleet arrived in the Vega system, they found the human force waiting in a defensive formation unlike anything in their tactical databases. The crystalline aliens had conquered dozens of species, but they had always faced conventional military doctrine, ships arranged in neat lines, weapons firing in predictable patterns, commanders making decisions limited by the speed of light communications. What they encountered at Vega was something entirely different. The human ships moved as if controlled by a single mind, reacting to Zephyrian maneuvers before the aliens had completed them. Weapons fired not at where the enemy's ships were, but where they would be. Defensive formations shifted and flowed like living tissue, absorbing attacks and redirecting energy in ways that violated known physics. "Zephyrian lead vessel is attempting to establish communications," reported Torres. "Put them on screen," Chen ordered. The main view screen flickered, then showed the bridge of a crystalline Zephyrian dreadnought. The alien commander was a being of living crystal and metal, its form constantly shifting as internal energy patterns pulsed through its structure. "Human creatures," the Zephyrian commander spoke through mechanical translation systems. "You have developed new tricks, but the outcome remains inevitable. Surrender now, and we will make your extinction swift." Emma looked up from her interface, and when she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate through dimensions. "We are no longer the species you knew. We have evolved beyond your comprehension. You were sent to prepare this galaxy for harvest, but you have failed. The children of this reality will not be consumed." The Zephyrian commander's energy patterns fluctuated in what might have been confusion or alarm. "Impossible. Our analysis shows you are still the same limited organic forms. Your ships may be enhanced, but you remain bound by biological constraints." Guardian uncoiled from around Emma's shoulders and fixed the alien with her ancient eyes. When she spoke, her mental voice was broadcast directly to the Zephyrian command ship. "Your analysis is outdated. These humans have been chosen by the Keepers. They carry within them the spark of transcendence. They are becoming something your masters did not anticipate, a species capable of growth beyond physical limitations." The battle that followed was unlike any engagement in recorded history. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, their enhanced weapons carving through Zephyrian formations like light through darkness. But more importantly, the Children Network began to demonstrate abilities that transcended normal space-time limitations. Emma and Her counterparts reached out across dimensional boundaries and began to interfere directly with Zephyrian command systems. Crystalline ships suddenly found their navigation computers rewriting themselves, their weapons targeting their own vessels, their communication systems flooded with impossible equations that caused their artificial intelligences to freeze in recursive loops. Within 2 hours, the massive Zephyrian fleet was either destroyed or fleeing in complete disarray. But the true victory wasn't the military one. It was the message being transmitted across multiple galaxies to entities that existed beyond normal reality. Emma turned from her interface and looked directly into the main camera that would carry her words to the network of enhanced children across human space. "Tell the Devourers," she said in a voice that carried the weight of evolutionary destiny, "that this galaxy is protected. We are the children of Earth and the students of the Keepers. We will not be harvested. We will not be consumed. And if they wish to challenge us, they will find that humans have learned to bite back." The golden light in her eyes pulsed once, and across the galaxy, 17 other children smiled identical smiles, their enhanced consciousness already reaching out toward the void between realities, ready to face whatever came next. 2 years had passed since the Battle of Vega, and humanity had undergone a transformation that redefined what it meant to be human. The galaxy, once on the verge of becoming a feeding ground for extra-dimensional entities, had become something unprecedented, a reality where organic consciousness and cosmic technology existed in perfect harmony. Emma Morrison, now approaching her 3rd birthday, stood in the observation deck of the Sovereign's Wrath alongside 17 other enhanced children. They appeared to be normal toddlers, but their eyes held the depth of beings who could perceive across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Guardian coiled around Emma's shoulders, her scales now bearing patterns that shifted through colors beyond human visual spectrum. Captain Chin watched the children with a mixture of awe and protective affection. Over the past 2 years, she had seen these remarkable beings grow not just in age, but in capabilities that challenged every assumption about consciousness, reality, and human potential. "Status report on the Outer Rim territories," Chin requested. Emma closed her eyes for a moment, her consciousness expanding across the network that now connected not just the enhanced children, but thousands of human worlds. When she opened them, they glowed with that familiar golden light. "The Zephyrians have withdrawn to the galactic core regions," she reported in her precise, oddly mature voice. "They are constructing what appears to be a massive dimensional anchor. Our analysis suggests they are preparing to force open a permanent gateway for their masters." Admiral Morrison's image appeared on the main screen. The past 2 years had aged him considerably, but there was a strength in his eyes that came from watching his species evolve beyond its limitations. Behind him on his bridge, similar enhanced children worked alongside human crew members in perfect coordination. "Emma, sweetheart, how dangerous is this dimensional anchor?" he asked. Emma's response came through the network consciousness that now linked all the enhanced children. "Grandfather, the anchor represents an existential threat not just to our galaxy, but to the fundamental structure of reality in this dimensional region. If the Devourers successfully establish a permanent foothold, they will be able to consume multiple realities simultaneously." Dr. Vance, now the lead researcher in Human Keeper hybrid development, studied her readings. "Captain, the children's neural integration with Keeper technology has reached a level we didn't think was possible. They're not just enhanced humans anymore. They're becoming something entirely new." Guardian's mental voice joined the conversation. The transformation was always the goal. The Devourers expected to face a standard organic species. Instead, they will confront beings who exist partially outside normal space-time constraints. Chun pulled up the tactical displays showing the current state of human space. What she saw was remarkable. Where once there had been isolated colonies struggling for survival, there were now interconnected communities linked by instantaneous communication and protected by technology that made previous human achievements look primitive. Guardian, What exactly are we looking at in terms of our own evolution? Are we still human? You are human plus, Guardian replied. Your species has retained its core characteristics, creativity, adaptability, protective instincts, but gained the ability to transcend physical limitations. The children represent the next step in conscious evolution. Emma looked up at Chun with those impossible eyes. Captain, we need to show you something. The network has been working on a project. The main view screen changed to show a view of space near the Sol system. But something was different. Where Earth's moon had once orbited alone, there was now a second celestial body, something that pulsed with the same golden energy that surrounded Guardian. My God, breathed Dr. Vance. What is that? Emma smiled, the first truly childlike expression Chun had seen from her in months. We've been growing it. It's a living ship, but not just for humans. It's for all conscious species in this galaxy. We call it Hope. The image zoomed in, revealing details that defied comprehension. The construct was the size of Earth's moon, but its surface was alive with patterns that resembled both organic neural networks and advanced technological circuits. Cities could be seen growing like corals on its surface, connected by pathways of pure light. The enhanced children from every human world have been contributing to its construction, Emma explained. But we've also been in contact with other species, the survivors from worlds as Zephyrians attacked. They're building it together. Commander Rodriguez stared at the image. Are you saying this construct is designed to be inhabited by multiple species? Not just inhabited, Emma corrected. Integrated. Each species brings unique perspectives on consciousness and reality. Together, they create something greater than any could achieve alone. Guardian scales shifted to display patterns that match those on the construct surface. This is how the Keepers originally envisioned galactic civilization should develop. Multiple species working in harmony, sharing consciousness while maintaining their individual identities. Admiral Morrison leaned forward. And this construct, Hope, is designed to fight the Devourers? Emma's expression grew serious. Not fight, transform. The Devourers consume consciousness because they believe it's finite. We're going to show them they're wrong. Chun felt a chill of realization. You're planning to confront extra-dimensional entities directly? We're planning to teach them, Emma replied. The network has been studying the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. We've discovered that awareness isn't just a byproduct of complex neural activity. It's a basic force of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. Dr. Vance checked her instruments, her face pale. Emma, the energy readings from that construct are incredible. What kind of power source are you using? Consciousness itself, Emma answered simply. Every aware being that contributes to Hope increases its capability exponentially. The Devourers think they're hunting prey, but they're actually approaching the largest concentration of conscious energy that has ever existed in this galactic region. The view screen switched to long-range sensors showing the galactic core, where the Zephyrians were constructing their dimensional anchor. The massive structure was nearing completion, a crystalline construct the size of a solar system, designed to punch a hole between realities. They will complete the anchor in 72 hours, Emma announced. When they do, the first wave of Devourers will attempt to enter our reality. That's when we'll make contact. Guardian uncoiled from Emma's shoulders and moved to the center of the observation deck. Her form began to glow, and suddenly, the room was filled with the presence of other Keepers from across the galaxy. The time of preparation is ending, Guardian announced. For millions of years, we have fought the Devourers by running and hiding, preserving what we could while they consumed entire realities. But humanity has shown us a different path. Chen looked around at the enhanced children, each of them connected to something vast and wonderful and terrible. What exactly are you planning to do? Emma's answer came not just from her, but from every enhanced human across the galaxy, their voices harmonizing in perfect unity. We're going to teach the Devourers what they've never experienced, the concept of voluntary cooperation. They consume consciousness because they believe it's the only way to experience awareness beyond their own dimension. We're going to show them that consciousness freely shared multiplies infinitely rather than being diminished. The golden light that had always surrounded the children intensified, and Chun could feel something vast awakening. Not just the construct called hope, but the collective consciousness of billions of beings across hundreds of worlds, all united in the simple revolutionary idea that cooperation was more powerful than consumption. As the dimensional anchor neared completion, the greatest experiment in galactic consciousness prepared to begin. The abandoned baby in a box had become the catalyst for humanity's transcendence, and, through them, the transformation of consciousness itself throughout the cosmos. In 72 hours, the universe would discover whether love and cooperation could triumph over hunger and domination. The children of humanity, guided by ancient keepers and powered by the dreams of countless species, prepared to find out. Emma looked up at Captain Chen one more time, her golden eyes reflecting the light of distant stars. "Thank you for finding me, Captain. Thank you for bringing us home." Chun smiled, finally understanding that home had never been a place. It had always been the connections between conscious beings choosing to grow together rather than consume each other. And now, those connections were about to reshape reality itself.